Hey everyone, it is RevTrev from Kempner Canucks. So glad that you're here. I love making passionate, realistic, and honest Canucks content. And today we're going to have the talk. And I know it's the one that's going to trigger a lot of people. And it's interesting because some of you are going to be saying, Trev, you're just getting on the conversation that everyone else is having nowadays. And you're going to jump in and you're going to make this video. And it's the old, listen. I have been talking about this. If you've been a part of my streams, if you've been a part of watching my channel, I have been discussing the possibility about this for quite a while. And will they actually pull the trigger on it? I don't know. But if someone has the guts, has the gonads to actually pull off this trade, it would be Rutherford. Now, I want to clarify that Rutherford and Alvin obviously believe in Pettersson, believe in his talent. They would have never offered him $11.6 million until 2032. Okay? They would have never offered him if they did not believe in his talent and his ability to play high-level hockey. But we have seen the drop-off of Pettersson for a very long time. And I want to show you quickly before, and I'm going to get into names of people that I would trade Pettersson for, and I'd love for you to post names of people that you'd actually trade Pettersson for. I know some of you are like, we're not going to trade him. Well, we might. We might, because his no movement clause or no trade clause, I guess no movement clause, doesn't kick in until next season. And we've just seen the drop-off of Pettersson. At the All-Star game, up until the All-Star game, Pettersson looked amazing. Absolutely amazing. He was tied for first in goals in January of last year, I believe with 14. I think it was him and Sam Reinhart, okay? On fire. The Pettersson we knew, we loved. The 102-point season Pettersson that we were all expecting would continue. This is why he got the contract. And then he just fell off the rails. Now, he apparently says that he was injured. When he got injured, we don't know. He talked about tendinitis. A lot of people think he's just lacking confidence. Last game against the New Jersey Devils, a lot of people have critiqued him. When he got that puck at the point, came down just quickly and shot it right into Markstrom's chest. There's no skill. No skill. There's no denying that he failed on that moment. It wasn't hard for Markstrom to stop it. We needed something at those moments. In that moment, most of the Canucks, I would say only 2 Canucks played great that game. So I'm not throwing Pettersson under the bus for that game. But if we're honest, he hadn't scored a goal in over 30 games on 5-on-5 until his first one this season. This season, he still hasn't looked good. Let's be honest about where Elias Pettersson is. We know that he's smaller. He gets knocked over like Bambi. We know that about him. We also know that we've seen his slap shot be deadly, his accuracy be deadly. He's had quite a few moments, and people are saying, well, under Rick Tocchet, he has not played well. That's not true. He has played well under Rick Tocchet. They're all saying, well, Bruce Boudreau would he played awesome under him. Yes. So did Kuzmenko, who's on the third line of Calgary right now, who got shipped out of Vancouver. So let's stop pretending that Bruce is the savior and Bruce is the reason why. You got to have a coach that can do that. I think they're giving Pettersson every opportunity to succeed in Vancouver. Okay. Now, that's a long rant to say this. I'll show you. So today we're talking about who you're going to trade Petey for, right? But this is what I posted a very long time ago. This is last season. Petey the Ghost, what's wrong with Petey? Okay. And I'll tell you this right now. I think this was June 1st. I made this graphic. I was preparing for this video and I was just like, should I make it? Should I not? Should I make it? Now's the time to make it. Here's the graphic I made June 1st, everyone. I was getting ready for this conversation. And then this season, I've made this video, the Pettersson problem. And you can go watch that on YouTube. Because this is what I've been documenting this. This is what I've been doing. And then here's the thing. I guess when it comes to Pettersson, it's not just the production level that bothers me, even though that's the primary, okay? That is definitely the primary thing that bothers me about Pettersson. But I also think he's being humbled. And it's hard to be humbled. Nobody wants to be humbled. But I felt like he had a lot of pride. I remember watching an interview with him and Brock Besser and how he says, well, the fans love me more. Like right in his face, said it. I think it was when they were making the hats. They were making the hats, the custom design hats. I got one right here. I bought the Bo Horvat one, right? It's one of the best hats I've ever bought. It's so cool, right? They've designed their own hats. Okay. So Petey, Brock, and Bo made these hats, and they said, "Who's going to sell more?" And Petey said, "I am, because the fans love me more." And Brock Besser, in his humility, looked at him and said, "Yeah, you're right." Now, is that right or wrong? Is it arrogant to say that when it's true? That's the debate. But that, I remember listening to that and I was like, that irks me. That irks me. And then he had the tenacity when we were talking about contracts, and he had that interview with Elliot Friedman and basically says, I do not want to be in Vancouver if this team is not a contender, if we're not trying to win a cup. I do not want to be here. I understand a lot of people say that, okay? A lot of people want that. We know that the NHL is a league of parity, okay? The league of parity, I get it. It's hard to win. Look at, you got McDavid, who's never won a cup. He's fantastic. He's the best player in the world right now. You got Draisaitl on that team. You know what I mean? You've got guys that are hungry to win. They can't do it yet. And so I get the desire, but it's like you're going to threaten the team. Okay, and that's fine. You're welcome to do that, okay? You also wanted to get paid. So you wanted a playoff team that contends for cups and get paid. So the Canucks come in and they revamp this team and all of a sudden become a contender. The hottest team in the NHL, the first half of the season, Vancouver Canucks were the talk of the league. Okay? They made trades. They got Zadorov. They got Lindholm. They made all those little minor deals to make it so we could run for the cup. Since signing the contract, actually before that, let's just talk about since signing the contract. Since signing the contract, he has been the liability. He's been the problem. He did not take over any games in the playoffs. He didn't. I mean, he helped us. He chipped in a little bit, but it was terrible. His playoff numbers are terrible. His numbers since January are terrible. His numbers this year are terrible. And people are like, don't worry. He's a point per game guy. Point per game guys turn it around. I really hope so. I really hope so. Okay? But we have a Pettersson problem, and that's why now everyone's coming out of the woodwork and making videos like this, and you guys are like sitting there going, anyone's, oh yeah, he's just trying to copy. I just showed you that I've been planning this because I'm like, I don't know, maybe we should just trade Pettersson because maybe it's in the best interest of the Canucks. And some of you are going to post in comments now or later, and you're going to say this. The Canucks would never trade Pettersson. You know what? You might be right, but it sounds like they almost did already. They almost already did trade him. You're like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I made this video. I remember I was in the hotel room and I made this video. Petey almost traded. He didn't want to talk about contract and all that kind of stuff. And all that information is coming up. And Alvin and Rutherford said, listen, are you here or are you not? Because if you're not, we're trading you to Carolina. We're trading you to Carolina. So just let us know. You can take your time if you want, but if you're going to take your time, we're trading you to Carolina. And he was like, oh, I'm calling you called my bluff. I'll sign it. He signs 11.6 for 8 seasons. Monster deal. The largest deal in Canucks history. Nothing's been close. Okay? 11.6. Monster deal. And you guys know, you girls know, as you've watched one of the things, I have no problem if a player gets paid. Zero problem if a player gets paid. My problem is when the player doesn't produce. Now, he's getting paid top 5 money. My expectation, and I don't think this is an unrealistic expectation, is that he needs to at least top 10 production. Okay? At least top 10 production. Guess what he has not done? He has not done. So he's getting paid a lot of money. So he's almost, there was conversation about trading him already. He's been Petey the Ghost. There's a Pettersson problem. We know all that. Okay? That's why I'm here today in this video. And I just want to give a shout out to everyone who's in the live chat right now. Love and appreciate each one of you. I know this might be a hard conversation for some of you, but I've been talking about this for a long time. And now I think it's time to talk about who we're going to trade for, because you know me, I've said this many times. I'm quoting myself here. I'm done protecting Pettersson. You want to get paid, then produce. If you, and any market, especially a Canadian market, you get paid the big bucks, you've got to produce, or you are under the microscope saying, oh, it's really hard to play in the Canadian market. Okay, then don't play here. Don't sign here if that's a problem for you. Okay, don't do it. But I'm done protecting him, and I hope all the best. I hope he's successful. I hope he brings Vancouver a Stanley Cup. Okay, I hope he's part of the solution, not part of the problem anymore. That is my hope and plan for Pettersson. Just because he gets knocked down, I just know he's talented, but I'm at the place where it's like maybe it's time to consider trading Pettersson. But here's the problem. It's risky. Will he turn it around? Or what can we actually get in return? Now, that's usually when you're trading the best player in the deal, you get hosed. What Canuck fans are worried about is that Pettersson is now the new Huberdeau. $10 million player, not playing anywhere near his capacity in Calgary. Moves from Florida there. What a dud, right? And that's what we're worried about the most. Now, Huberdeau's actually having a little bit of a better season this year, but it's still early. Okay, it's still early. So all the people out there like, oh, it's only 16 games, or 10 games, or whatever it is. When do you get the place where you're like, now I don't want to do this anymore? No, now we're out on Pettersson. Is it 20 games? Is it 30 games? Is it at the trade deadline? Is it next season? If he goes into another, we actually make the playoffs and he sucks again. That no trade clause kicks in. Was it July 1st? I don't know what the date is. And the longer you wait and the more he struggles is the more his value drops. And apparently right now there are teams that would take Pettersson even though he's struggling. So the question is who? Now, the first deal was, I believe it was Nashville and a first rounder for Pettersson. I don't know all the other details of who it was as well that would come our way. That is one of the things. Would you still do that deal? I don't know if Carolina would do that deal, right? Would you do that deal? Speaking of Carolina, I should probably just bring it up. What's he making anyways right now? Nashville just got a contract extension, didn't he? 6.5 until 26-27. 2026-2027. He's age 25. They say he's a center, but I also see him play right wing. He only makes $6.5 million. Would you still, if Carolina was interested, he's having a great start to the season. I think he's already at 15 points plus points already. Would you trade Pettersson and Pettersson for a first rounder in Nashville? That's a great question to ask ourselves. 6.5 million. I mean, it's almost half. Half, guys. Think about that. Young. Speaking of that team, would you trade Aho? Center, 27 years old, $9.75 million, right? $9.75 million until 2032. Okay. He had 89 points last year. Same with Pettersson. So that is one. I would seriously consider this trade. I don't think Carolina would do this deal. Why in their right mind? Like maybe Nashville and a first rounder. Cool. I don't even think we could get that anymore. But if you get Nashville in a first rounder, okay, we should talk about this again. But Aho, why would they do that? Now, you're saying, well, Aho's never scored 100 points. Correct. Will Pettersson ever score 100 points again? I don't know. I'll tell you the number one guy that I want the Canucks to trade Pettersson for, and it's this guy right here, Brady Tkachuk. He is exactly the playoff, gritty, point-producing player you want. He's a leader. It's like having it's a young JT Miller who was way better than JT Miller at his age. He's making $8.2 million until 2028. This is the guy I would love. I would make this trade in a heartbeat. Now the question is, would Ottawa do that? I don't think they would. See, this is what I'm talking about, and this comes back to the risky. It's one thing if you trade him and he turns around and he has these 100-point seasons, and you're like, oh dang! But then you trade him and you get a guy like Brady Tkachuk, and you're like, this guy he is a hockey player. Him and his brother Matthew are playoff guys. They're hard workers. I mean, what did he get last year? Was it 75 points or something like that? Let's just bring that up real quick. But I can't remember what his points were. Brady Tkachuk. Boom. So right now he's got 14 points, 6 goals, 8 assists, 6 power play goals. This guy, he's so stinking good. Right? And so, like if I go to last year's stats, Brady Tkachuk. Okay, last year. Come on, hit that's the last year's button right here. 37 goals, 37 assists, 74 points, 22 on the power play. So obviously you're taking a hit points-wise, but I mean, he is the gritty guy. He is so stinking gritty. I would love to see Brady Tkachuk as a Vancouver Canuck. I mean, what do you think? Post it in the comments. What do you think about that? I'm just going to bring this up too. He's 6'4", 225, everyone. This is insane how good he is. This is insane. Okay, share screen. Here we go. Okay, so 6'4", 225. What did he get drafted? First round, fourth overall pick. Stud. He's a stud. Look at his stuff. So last season, get all this stuff out of here. Okay, last season, it says that he only had 34 hits, which he doesn't get a lot of hits. Oh no, sorry, blocks, 34 blocks. He almost had 300 hits. Oh my goodness, this guy's the dream. Like, think about it, right? Now, here's the other one, and I know I've got like over 100 comments here in this live stream. Okay, so I want to get to your comments. I got two more guys, and then I have one more question, and I'm going to get to your comments. These two guys, well, the first one I would do in a heartbeat. I've been saying for a long time, I would do Connor Bedard straight up for Pettersson in a heartbeat. Now, Chicago would not do that. I'm telling you that right now. Chicago's not doing that. But would you do Celebrini for Pettersson? Think about it for a moment, right? Think about it for a moment. First overall pick. And what's his size here? He is, doesn't have it here? That's weird. Oh, 6 foot, 190 pounds. Okay. 6 foot, 190 pounds. And Pettersson is, Elias Pettersson is 6'2", 176. I mean, he's bigger. Why wouldn't you? I would seriously consider this deal. Celebrini for Pettersson. I'd even give a pick for. I would give a first rounder and Pettersson probably for Celebrini. Like that. These kids are super talented. I mean, Bedard in a heartbeat. I want Bedard to come to Vancouver. Okay, but would you consider this? I would. I'd consider both these guys in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, I think about these guys and go, can we pull this off? Okay. The last one is this one. Matt Boldy, left winger, 23 years old, making $7 million a year until 2030. Another guy who's been really good. And you might say, Trevor, you're crazy. I mean, am I? I don't know. Last question. So those are my suggestions just quickly. I don't know if any of those teams would do that. Maybe Minnesota would. I'm not sure. He's young, man. He's young. What D-man would you trade for Pettersson? Maybe you're saying that's not our need. We need a D-man. We need a D-man. I just made the video the other day about Rasmus Andersson. Would you trade for him? Do you think the Canucks are supposedly in trade rumors, okay, with him? That video is blown up. It's been a great video. It's just a conversation. It's just a rumor. Okay. It's just a rumor. There's nothing concrete about that video, just a question. But other than that, the Canucks are interested and have called the Calgary Flames and asked what his price tag was. And we know all of his different things, right? So would you be open? I'll keep this here for a second. Would you be open if Pettersson went to Calgary and Anderson came back, or name whatever defenseman you want, okay? Whatever defenseman you want. And just say which one you do. I mean, obviously, you're not going to get Makar. You're not going to get, you know what I mean? Stop with all those ones. No one's going to give you Makar. No one's going to give you, like, I don't think Florida give you Ekblad. I don't think, like, Hedman's too old. You wouldn't want him at this stage. Adam Fox, I don't think you're wanting him at this stage. It'd be interesting. I'm just interested. Want to throw this out. Okay, so that's kind of this my video. Okay, so I'm going right to the front. I'm going to go very, very thing. Andrew, I know. I doubt it's going to happen. But let's see this. So Callum says Petey is playing as a less than 40-point producer worth $11.6 million in AAV, and that's actually a good point. Also, his shot speed is down. His speed of skating's down. and people are saying he's injured. If he's injured, okay, that's one thing. If it's just lack of confidence, that's another thing. And it's extremely disappointing, but I doubt he gets it. Okay, I get it. I get it. Could you replace that with a stud right-handed defenseman and another center? Probably. I'm not sure. If and when Pettersson pulls out of his slump, I hope he's still playing for the Canucks. That is the ideal thing. Rome, you're right. You're right. I'd venture a guess that his trade value is very low right now. It is, but there's people that believe what Rome just said. He's going to come out of this and he's going to be the player that we all saw before. Maybe not. Maybe not. Also, Rome thinks that we have to retain some of his contract to do that. Okay. Not too many teams with the cap space could take on Pettersson's contract right now. That's a good point. Good point. Petey has a no trade clause until next season. No, it's not. It's not. If you look at his, I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you so that you'll know that I'm not lying to you. If you go to Pettersson and okay, so let's do this. Okay, so Pettersson right here. Okay. There's a no trade clause that kicks in next year. See that thing right here? That is the one there. That's not beside here. This year, he still can be traded. So this is the no movement clause, cannot be traded, sent to the minors, or waived without the player's approval. That kicks in and goes for the rest of his contract. So now is the time if you wanted to move him. Or you have to get him to agree and say, no, I want out of Vancouver now. I want out of Vancouver. Yeah, and Minnesota's going to have $14 million in cap space. I don't know if you're going to get someone who's better. Sometimes you still trade and you get someone lesser. That would be. Callum wants Brady Tkachuk, so do I. You need a top 6 center in return. You mean a top 6 forward and who's a center. Rome thinks it would be closer to the deadline. Yeah, see, Andrew, I also wanted Louis Eriksson to win a cup as a Canuck too. And then, oh, you're talking about Luongo. He never did, right? But Rome says he wanted Louis Eriksson to win a cup. Jacob says, I'd love the old Petey, but he's lost. It's true. Let's just see. Keep going. Mike says his totals dropped when he signed that last deal too. If you look deeper into his CF percentage, it's only horrendous when games are tied. This signals he's a guy who can't handle pressure. That's a good point. He doesn't come up big in big games. He plays really great against weaker teams. Like, for example, tonight we're playing San Jose Sharks. I can see him having a 4-point night. And then everyone's like, what? What are you doing? You know, that kind of stuff. Rome says, I hate the idea of Pettersson leaving, but it might be a benefit of changed scenery, clean slate. The whole league sees him struggling. In what world would we be able to trade him? There are teams, Justin, that have actually expressed interest that they would. How many different line mates? Actually, that's a really good point, Jacob. I do want to, because this is not an excuse, right? And then everyone wants to do the lotto line, and it's. But here's the thing: DeBrusk came in to play with Pettersson. DeBrusk is already off that line, and what the worry is DeBrusk and chemistry, and then Pettersson. They don't have the chemistry. Why have they already moved them up? They should have just rode out DeBrusk and Pettersson. That's why you brought him in. But talk is like, I want to win games, and I'm not here to baby Pettersson. So I wouldn't say DeBrusk is playing fine. He's playing and he's working hard, but he's not getting the production yet. Japan 4 is in the building. Petey better be asking Santa for a big pair of marbles for Christmas. Trade Petey for Horvat. That's awful. That's awful. Is management trying to get LTIR from Pettersson by still playing him, not testing tendonitis risk tears? I don't think that's what they're trying to do. and you're right, Japan For. The fans need to stop babying all our stars and keep them accountable. But my question to you, my pushback to you is, what is the word accountable mean to you? What does that mean? When we need a goal, Petey never has shown us that he can put his team on his shoulders and lead us. What's he getting paid? 11.6 for? Wake up, Vancouver fans. Yeah. I mean, what's the accountable? Trade him? I know you want to get rid of him. I get it. Victor, my friend Victor's in the building. That Nations trade would have been amazing and way cheaper. Oh, well, one can dream. Maybe it's not over. Chemo's here. Hello, my friend. Trade him now while he has some value, right? Like Petey wakes up with a decapitated horse head in his bed. No, that's weird. That's weird. Okay. We're 9 games in. Okay, fifth liner. Okay. Cool. Guess what? So what's his excuse from January of last year? That it's not 9 games in. It's since January and the playoffs and now going into another season. This is exactly why we're talking about it. So I think it's good to talk about that. And I agree. I don't think Carolina would do that deal anymore. Victor says he's sick and tired of all the lame excuses for him. I agree. 9 games in. Okay, so 9 games in, he has 1 goal. It's crazy. It's like my internet is slowing down or something. It's like the internet found out that I'm making this video and they're like, let's bog it down. We need players with heart, no more pansies on this team. Right? Yeah, Victor, this is the point. You over 36 games now without a multi-point game. That's crazy. Like, the money he's making, it's got to be like Kucherov. It's got to be like even Braden Point, Aho, all those guys. That's what you need, those kind of numbers. You don't necessarily need McDavid, Kucherov numbers, okay? Okay, let's go. Yeah, and if we talk about Brady Tkachuk, that's a hardworking 74 points. Brady Tkachuk and Hughes together would be great. Exactly, John. You're right. Oh, Canada says, I agree with you 100%, Kemp. A top 10 player needs to produce top 10 results on the ice. And I'm not being a jerk saying that. It's just like, that is a fair criticism. It's a fair expectation. Yeah, Victor, it's a great question you have. How can our team do better when you have leadership like this, right? Brady Tkachuk saw playoff action last spring. More than he's ever seen in the NHL level. I know. Ottawa's been bad. And I don't think it's Brady Tkachuk's fault. Matt Cass says, so what happened to him at the All-Star game? I don't know. It's a good question. Why would San Jose do that? I know. I wouldn't trade. San Jose's not going to trade Celebrini, but if they did, let's do it. I am tired of Canada being disrespected as hard to play in. Canada equals knowledgeable hockey fans equals player accountability. If it wasn't for Canada, the NHL wouldn't exist. We care. And so many people are like, I want to play in a Canadian market. Yeah, you do. Because when you win, when you produce, you are given the credit. People buy your jerseys. People talk about you. People make videos on you. People want your autograph. That's why. So you go and you win the Stanley Cup in Columbus. Okay. Most people don't even know who you are. Viper's Web says, Petey was super talented. Why do we think Celebrity won't fade like Petey did? Well, he's bigger. He was first overall pick. So I think he's got more promise. Also, Besser went through Found the light. No. Let's talk about this. Brock Besser got injured, and it was a significant injury. Pettersson does not have a significant injury. He has a nagging injury potentially, but he doesn't have a significant injury. His dad also was in really bad shape and ended up passing away. And I don't care who you are. Emotionally, that's hard when you lose your father. So when you have a good tie with your father, then the Canucks stuck with him and then went to the next level. So I know Pettersson needs to bulk up now 20 pounds. I just don't think he's ever going to. There we go. Scheider, that would be a great one. I would hate it too if, well, I don't know. If he plays like he is now, I wouldn't mind it. If he goes to Calgary. Last thing is he needs is weight on that bad knee. Interesting. As a longtime Canucks fan, I was majorly conflicted when I heard the money they were offering Pettersson. As you knew, for better for worse, it will majorly impact the Canucks' success. I mean, it's a good point, right? If it flares up, there's a reason they're confusing with arthritis. I'm not a doctor, Mike. I'm just saying he's saying tendonitis. So I'm not sure. Toymaker said he's playing his cards close to his chest. That's all. Okay. Score prediction tonight. I think we bounce back. We win 6-1. I think Pettersson's going to get 3 points, and everyone's going to say, oh, you see, you should have never made this video. I don't know what happened at the All-Star game. I don't know what we're saying. Good morning, Marcus. It's still morning here. Wish you would actually read comments? Okay, sorry. My bad. Jay is in the building. If it was for him signing long-term extension in Buffalo, yeah, Darlene. If it was for him signing a long-term extension in Buffalo, what do you mean? Sorry, if it wasn't for him signing a long-term extension in Buffalo, oh, you'd want Darlene for him. Okay, I mean, maybe that's okay. That's okay. Petey was the best fit for Kuzmenko, but Kuzmenko didn't fit with Tocchet. You're right. John says Marner for Petey. You know what? I've thought about that deal. The problem, I think Marner is more consistent. I think he's a better player, but when it comes to the playoffs, he's a ghost. So I don't want to do that deal, but that might be a realistic trade. Mike says trade has to include a second line center and a top 4 D-man. I don't mind that. Petey should take advantage of the NHL personal trainers and mental health department. He probably is. We do need a warrior like Brady Tkachuk. That's exactly. Oh, man. My internet is playing like Petey, slow and soft. Great. Thanks. But thanks for the heads up. Nothing is perfect. Good to have you here. Okay, trade them for positional needs on the team like defense and forwards. Galactus is in the building. Convince Naslin to come back and give him special training. Kirby says, I would look hard at Brady for Petey and nothing else. Brady's bestie with Quinn. I didn't know they're good friends with Quinn. And Brady plays like Miller and bigger and would get Jake going, and Brady wears his heart out. That's why I'm saying I would do Pettersson for Brady Tkachuk in a heartbeat. Put Sherwood on Petey's line just to embarrass him. Sherwood is twice the player Petey is. Here's the thing. I don't actually agree with that statement, but here's the thing. Teddy Bluger is playing better than Pettersson this year. Stop and think about that, guys. Offensively, defensively, Teddy Bluger is the second best center we have on this team right now. That's how bad Pettersson's playing. That's how bad. Andrew says Brady is the only trade I'd really like. Who's going to trade for Pettersson? That's a good question. Huge contract, and he's not worth it. You're probably not wrong, Bop City. How do you spell Ottawa Senators? Like that. Right? Like that. current Pettersson stats on the NHL's league leaders. He's number 305, 1 goal, 3 assists. Hoaglander's above him at 300. Yeah, it's really bad. It's really bad. Oh. Okay. O'Cannon says, I'm tired of the weak prima donnas with fragile egos who make lame excuses for their play, especially after handicapping the Canucks with such an enormous contract. Now, they didn't handicap him. The Canucks offered it. So let's just think about that. Trade Petey to Philly in a package including, I would love that. I would do that for Michkov, though, instead. Michkov, he is going to be special, guys. I think he's going to be special. I could be wrong about that. And you're right. See, Bluger is playing great, but Pettersson has to be better than him. Nobody will trade for Petey. He's overrated and too expensive. That's not true. There are teams that will trade for him. Absolutely. Marner got points in the 2024 Leafs Bruin playoff series, unlike Petey, but no doubt both were mostly playoff ghosts last season. Most of Marner's career, he's been a ghost in the playoffs. Victor, I wonder what would happen if you made Petey a healthy scratch. I just don't think it helps his confidence. And it, like they did that to Louis Eriksson, making $6 million a year. Didn't help him at all. They didn't get better. Okay, some of you want to talk about tonight's game. I don't mind talking about tonight's game, but I think I'm going to leave that till my live stream tonight. So tonight, going to go live. It's going to be a great evening watching the game. And then, nothing is perfect. It's going to be live streaming the game. He always does a great job. But after the game, if you don't mind coming back here and checking out the live stream, everyone, the post-game show is what you don't want to miss. And so we're in San Jose tonight. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting. I don't know what all the lineups are going to be right now, but I just want to bring up this graphic so you guys can see this is the one we're going to be doing. There we go. It's coming up right here. So, I've already downloaded this. Okay. Where is it? Post-game show. Yeah. So is Lankinen playing tonight? That's what I want to know. Yeah, I don't know where this stinking graphic went. I'm going to download it. We're going to download right now. So yeah. So tonight it's going to be awesome. It's going to be lit. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. I hope that we win. If we lose, I'm telling you right now, Canuck fans, we're going to want to burn this down. We are going to want to burn it down, everyone. Like that's where we're at as a Canucks fan base. And I'm not saying we want to riot, but I'm just saying, like, you think it's bad now. Let's if we lose this game, by the way, this is a post-game graphic. If we lose this game, I'm telling you right now, Canuck fans are going to want to burn this team to the ground. So who's in goal tonight? Sheila starts tonight. Are you kidding? You got to be kidding me, right? Please tell me this is wrong. Demote Petey to the fourth line. I just don't see that helping him. He's playing third line center production. Okay. I wouldn't mind sending him there. I would not send him to the fourth line. I agree. Can't scratch 11.6 million. Please elaborate who you think you would trade for Petey. I've already, that's what this whole video is on. About halfway through this video, I talked about a whole bunch of players that I would trade Pettersson for. The number one would be Brady Tkachuk, but I don't think they'll do it. Ideally, you just sit him for a few. I don't think that's ideal. Do you think that the tendonitis will heal after a couple games? Didn't he rest it in the offseason? Just saying. Big Tacos in the building. Petey's still playing at an NHL level. Scratches for guys who have fallen below the acceptable level of play. I agree. Nope. Can't kid a kidder. Okay, so She Loves is in net tonight. Bob said he is playing at NHL level. He's an NHL player. We're expecting him to be a first-line center. He's playing third-line center quality. That's what's happening. I agree with you. It's not what he's getting paid, what it's worth, but if there's a game to get She Loves back on track, it might be against the Sharks. If we lose, guys, I'm telling you right now, you think the heat on Talkett's been bad before? Going to be a long afternoon, evening for sports. BC Lions playoff game. Oh, I didn't even know that. That's awesome. And then Canucks at 7. Well, I hope the Lions win. I'll have to tune into that. Okay, everyone. We've been going for 46 minutes. 46 minutes. I appreciate you being here on a Saturday morning. Now it's a minute and a half before noon. So thank you so much for showing up. I know this is a hard conversation for a lot of people. This might come back to bite me to say this, to make this video. I'm okay with that. At the end of the day, he's not good enough right now. He's not driving the line. He didn't play well in the playoffs. There's something off about Pettersson. I hope he turns it around. At the end of the day, I just want Vancouver Canucks to win a cup. And when you got to face teams like Vegas, like the Edmonton Oilers, like Dallas Stars, like, fill in Colorado's not playing well right now because of their goaltending, but you've got stacked teams. You have to be able to have guys who produce, that are firing on all cylinders in order to compete. We know that firsthand from last season. So at the end of the day, that's my goal. I want the Vancouver Canucks to win a Stanley Cup. I hope that's with Pettersson, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure. I'm at the stage where I'm totally okay with trading him. So, and you're right. This is not just the start. It's going to get worse if he doesn't play better. You're right. All right. Thanks, everyone, for coming out, for being a part of this. Please hit like and subscribe. Don't forget that tonight, after the game, I'm going live. And that's it. So, Pettersson, hope you turn it around. Hope we win a cup. Go, Canucks. Go.